Welcome. This is Bria Simons.
And I'm Renee Champagne.
And you are now listening to Tea Talk on Glasshouse Radio, part of the Howard University Radio Network. So today we're talking about a relatively serious topic, domestic violence. Domestic violence is something that has plagued not only the black community, but the nation in general. There's been a lot of news stories and stories in the news surrounding domestic violence, and now we're starting to see more cases and people respond to that. So what is domestic violence? Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior used to establish power and control over another person through fear, intimidation, and often used as a threat or a use of violence. And domestic violence is not only physical, but it comes in different types. Renee?
Right. There is more to domestic violence besides the physical aspect. Yes, there's physical abuse, which, is inflicting and intending physical attack or aggressive behavior. There's also emotional and psychological abuse, such as, using hurtful words or language or actions meant to control or hurt or demean someone, or, intimidate them, or to make them do something by the way you speak to them. There's also sexual abuse, meaning coercing or attempting to coerce any sexual act without consent. And something I learned is financial abuse, any behavior that maintains power and control over financial situations. Like if they say, well, if someone takes your credit card and they won't give it back to you. Like, you know what I mean?
That's an example of financial
abuse.
abuse.
Yeah, because that's like they're controlling you through money. Like, or you have to do this in order for you to get your allowance this week.
Right, there's a
or
power
you have
imbalance.
to do this and I'll give you $5. I'll let you have this money because I own you.
I think it's also very important to know the different types of domestic abuse because people only think that it's physical, but it's way more than that. And a lot of people say that emotional abuse is the worst kind because those are wounds that you cannot see. Those are wounds that are psychological and wounds that take longer to heal. A bruise, you can cover up with makeup, you can pretend like it didn't happen, but something that is emotional is imprinted on your mind, and you end up changing the way you act towards certain people and the way that you feel because of these emotions. So a lot of people don't even know that they're in a domestic violent relationship. They do not know that they're even in this type of situation.
Right, like you mentioned, you said it's not just physical, because you could be abused and you're not getting hit on, you're not getting no one's hurting you physically, but you could still be in an abusive relationship and not realize it because you might be really in love with the person. Like, oh, he's just doing this to help me. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's saying you're fat.
Or it doesn't always start as an abusive relationship.
It might start as a, people like, oh, I don't think you should wear that today because you look fat. You look fat.
Yeah.
So actually, you need to start working out, like demeaning the person, coming from a place of superiority.
Superiority.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know what you mean. But it's like, I think a lot of it also comes with people say that, oh, like only people who are weak or only people who have low self-esteem are in this domestic violent relationship, and that is not true. You have people who are the most strong-willed people who, at the end of the day, has a soft spot for somebody.
You would never know, exactly.
You would never know. And honestly, people always say that, love does things to people. And you can be the strongest person, the most hardest person in the world, but when you find that soft spot for somebody, they're
your kryptonite.
They're your kryptonite, exactly. So you let things pass that wouldn't normally pass for the normal person. So especially when it comes to emotional abuse, a lot of people don't know. They think that there's a joke. They're not always like that. Oh, he's just blunt. Oh, she's just
That's
blunt.
How he is.
Exactly. And it's not just only for men. It's also for women as well. Women can be emotionally abusive. It's just, men don't show it as much, but women can be. And those are the type of abuse that statistically is what women do to men. It's the emotional kind of abuse. It's like not even the taunts, but like the things that are negative comments towards you, as opposed to what's most common in domestic violent relationships for men is the physical aspect. So a lot of people, as I said before, do not know that they're in this type of situation. So we're going to just talk about some warning signs or some triggers and symptoms of domestic violence. So feeling afraid of your partner most of the time. You should not be afraid of someone that you're cared about. Love does not hurt in the physical sense. It may hurt, when you break up, or your heart's broken, or you feel like this person, you've given this all to this person and they're not reciprocating. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you should never be afraid. First of all,
you should never be afraid of
anybody,
exactly.
Not alone your partner. And what are you fearful of? Why are you fearful of them? For what reason? Why would you be fearful of your partner? What is he or she doing Like, you are afraid of them.
And fearful of your partner as if you were a child fearful of your parent.
Right. Like, are you afraid of a reaction? Why are you afraid of a reaction? What is a reaction? Like, why are you not equivalent into where you could feel like you could speak your mind and not be afraid?
Exactly.
Or do something and not be afraid.
Exactly. And there's a difference with being afraid and being concerned. So you can do something and be like, man, like, I don't know how he's about to take this, or I don't know how she's about to take this. And that won't be considered abusive. But if you're truly fearful of what's going to happen,
I'm not going to go out
outcome,
tonight because, he's not going to like it.
Right,
I'm not. Just no.
I'm not going out to the club. Like, don't bring these
He
people
might be too
here.
mad.
Exactly.
Just like the Madea movie.
I was just thinking that. The
Family
Madea
reunion.
movie, right, family reunion, when I think it was like her bachelor party, and they brought her sister and her best friend brought a stripper into the house, and she was fearful of what would happen if her husband wants to see that. So she didn't even let loose. So that is also a sign or a warning sign. If you're fearful, love does not hurt. Love, you shouldn't be afraid of love. You shouldn't be afraid to be in that type of environment, in that type of relationship. Also, avoiding certain topics out of fear for angering your partner. That's what touched on what Erin said about you should be able to feel comfortable
to
in what
speak your mind.
To speak your mind.
Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not gonna bring that up because if I do, he's gonna get too mad, or she feels like, or he feels like I don't want to ask her so and so because she's gonna start yelling at me and start screaming at me, and it's just gonna be an argument. It's just gonna lead to something else. So I'm not even gonna bring it up because he gets or she gets too mad. If you have something to say, you should say it. You're grown. Like, you should say it.
Exactly. Another warning sign is feeling that you can't do anything right in front of your partner or for your partner. Feeling that you're not good enough. Feeling that, you're not worth this partner. Or why am I even worth this? Why am I even with this person? Like, I'm not worth being with this person. You should never, ever, ever feel that way. Especially because you have something to bring to the table. You should never think that you're going to the relationship for someone to make you or to create you or to create the person that you are. You feel like you're supposed to come in there 50-50. Each person's supposed to complement each other. That's what your partner's supposed to be there for. Not to remake you and remold you. Granted, people go into relationships to change people and, I feel like I can make you better. That's different from saying I am going to control you. I am going to change the way that you're acting.
And as if you're in a relationship, your partner should be actually motivating you to do better.
Exactly.
In an encouraging way. Like,
right. Acknowledging your faults and helping you to correct them, yeah.
Going back to the fat thing. If your partner feels like, oh, maybe you should start hitting the gym, but, oh, let's go to the gym together. We both need to be more fit. Let's start eating better. Let's start eating more vegetables instead of just calling you names.
Right.
Because, I noticed that we've been eating terrible lately. Let's start doing something better. You shouldn't feel like you can't do anything right. Your partner is supposed to be like, even if you feel like you can't do anything right, your partner is supposed to be like, you can do it.
Exactly.
Like, helping you, supporting you, encouraging you, saying, I know you're feeling down right now, but it's okay. You could do it. Not feeling like, oh, I could never do nothing right. Every time I do something, I'm getting ridiculed. I can never. I just want to keep my mouth shut.
Or feeling humiliated. You should never feel humiliated in a relationship.
Correct.
Ever.
Correct. You shouldn't feel embarrassed. Like, why is somebody embarrassing? Your partner should not be the one embarrassing. The only person that should ever embarrass you are your parents.
Exactly. And you shouldn't even feel so badly to be embarrassed to bring this person out to certain family functions because you're embarrassed of the way they're going to act towards you.
Right.
Because your family doesn't know that this is going on.
Right.
High-key, you don't even know that it's going on.
Or mad that someone's always bringing up, oh, why he says that to you? Or why is she speaking to you that way?
Exactly.
And you're embarrassed because you feel some type of way about it.
Especially also if you're wondering whether you're the one that's doing wrong, you're crazy, or whether you blame yourself for your partner's abuse.
That is a major thing that I feel like a lot of people in abuse, the victim feels like they're the crazy one because it's a mind game. Mm-hmm. They make you feel like you're crazy. The abuser makes you feel like, dang, maybe it is my fault. Maybe I'm the one that should be doing this or that. Like, going back to the Madea movie, when she told her mom, like, Mom, he hits me. He's like, well, then what are you doing to make him mad? It should not be like that. Like, what are you doing to make him mad? Mm-hmm. No, he shouldn't be hitting you.
Right.
It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm the one causing this. I'm the reason why. No, the action should not be taking place.
Exactly. Also, you have examples of controlling behavior, whether it's limiting your access to your money, your phone, your car, forcing you to do things you don't want to do, keeping you from seeing your families or friends.
That's a major one too.
Exactly, or acting excessively jealous and possessive. There's a difference between being jealous and being the normal boyfriend, girlfriend jealous,
Right.
and there's a difference between being excessively jealous where you're basically suffocating the person.
Yeah, and I get it. Your family's always gonna like your partner, whether they're abusive or not. Your family may not like your partner, but you still should be able to see your family without your partner. Your partner cannot dictate if you go see your family members. Like, you cannot go. That's
Right.
not okay. Even if your partner does not like your mother, you should still be able to see your mother.
Or respect that fact because she is your mother.
Exactly.
Or she is
You
part
may
of your
not
family.
like my mom,
Exactly.
but I'm still gonna go see my mom.
And I think the biggest thing is when you're emotionally numb, or you feel helpless, or you emotionally checked out of your relationship, and not for reasons of
And
falling
just
out of
accepted it for
love
what
or whatever.
it is.
Exactly. If you're emotionally checked out, like this stuff is a norm to you, I think you need to reevaluate exactly like what you want from that relationship. What are the positives of being in this relationship, and what are the negatives? And if the negatives outweigh the positives, then it's time to take the necessary precautions into slowly moving yourself out of that relationship so you can work on you. Because a lot of people don't understand that these type of relationships are very, very draining to your psyche, to your emotional standpoint, to how you are as a person. It can definitely change and take away everything that you are as a person because you're giving so much to your partner and you feel like you're numb, you feel like you have nothing left. And so you should never feel broken in a relationship. If anything, you should feel uplifted, you should feel empowered, you should feel more confident than you ever felt because this person is helping you to grow, helping you to mold, helping you to change.
Yeah, like feeling helpless, like there's no if you're like, okay, this is the way it is, you have to reach a breaking point and realize enough is enough. If you identified that what's going on and you're just used to it, it shouldn't be the norm. You should realize there's other people out there that this doesn't happen to.
Right. And quickly, I just want to talk about the bystanders, or the people who are around you when you're in this type of relationship or you know of people. You can see a change in like self-esteem, a change in the way the person acts, a change. If you see drastic personality changes, if this person used to be very confident and is now very meek and timid, if the person used to be a very outgoing person and now is withdrawn to themselves, I feel like these are
signs that you should be looking
into. Exactly.
If you notice your friend, these signs that we just listed, if you notice, because some people have a mask on and you would never know.
Right.
Some people you just don't know. They still go about their day. You don't even see these signs. It's just normal, and you don't know. But if you notice something, if that's really your friend, even with the mask on, you should be able to tell if they feel down or whatever. You should be able to see something's not right. And granted, people are not always gonna say, say what's going on. They might just brush it off, like, I'm okay. But sometimes you know that I'm okay is not a I'm okay.
Exactly. And sometimes that person just needs to know that you know that they're going through something, but they may feel like they're handling it, but now you know. So now if I'm in a hard position, now it's your obligation to help me because now you know.
Correct.
And I think also, I think there's always signs. I think there are always signs, and people brush it off as maybe that person's having a bad day, or maybe this person is feeling some type of way, maybe this person's sick. But I feel like there can always be little signs. So basically, just to sum up this part of the conversation, we spoke about the definition of domestic violence as well as the types of abuse, and we talked about the symptoms, the triggers, and the signs. But stay tuned because we have a very special guest that's going to speak on this, and just stay tuned. I'm Bria Simons.
I'm Erin Champagne, and you are now listening to Tea Talk on Glass House Radio, part of Howard University Radio Network.
Stay tuned.